Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Make Our World Your Runway. And as you know, this show is not only about the pageantry world, but it's about fashion, modeling, entertainment, and even the business industry. So today we are going to go back to the pageant world. But before I do that, I always have a couple of announcements that I would like to make. And we like to tell everybody to subscribe to the GTC Global Trade Chamber channel because you can see the success stories there. And also every Thursday night or sometimes even Friday night, you can see all the people that I interview on Make Our World Your Runway. So remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel. And also through Target and Amazon, you can pick up a copy of the 100 Successful Women in Business book. It is now available. I highly recommend you getting a copy of that and reading the fabulous success stories of women in business and community service and what they've done for society around the world. It is fabulous. I'm also in there, and volume 2 is going to be coming out very shortly. You will love it. And available every Monday, the Global Trade Chamber magazine, where we have fabulous stories in there of business, women around the world. It's amazing. So I highly recommend that you listen in every Monday to Success Stories. And of course, the big announcement, August 24th through the 28th, the 100 Successful Women in Business will be going to London, England. It's going to be an amazing event. Women from around the world are going to be attending, and they will be honored for their accomplishments in business and community service. Registrations are now closed, okay? You can still go to the event. You can still go to the website at www.100swb.com to read everything about the event, but registrations are now closed for the awards. But keep watching because I am sure that the awards for 2023 will open up soon. But if you can get to London, England, this is one event you do not want to miss. We're also going to do an amazing fashion show, which I have the honor of coordinating, and I'm going to be working with 3 international designers. So once again, the date, August 24th through August 28th, London, England. One show you definitely do not want to miss. So I hope I will see you there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we're going to go back to the pageant industry. And I am so excited. I mean, extremely excited, I should say, to introduce my next guest. She is the current reigning Teen International World. And she has some amazing accomplishments. Okay, at 18 years old, she has been on 2 TV shows and 3 movies. And coming in streaming platforms soon. She's had some great billboards in Times Square through Supermodels Unlimited magazine. And she has sung at the BB&T Center behind some Broadway greats. She will be attending college in the fall and getting her bachelor's degree in music as a musical theater major. And I love that because I graduated the Juilliard Academy of Music with a degree in operatic study, a master's degree in operatic study. And that is not an easy task. You know, most people go to college to become a lawyer, doctor, or teacher. But when you hear her story, you're going to see how difficult it is to climb the ladder in the entertainment business. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you, Gianna Angela Downing, the current reigning Teen International World. Gianna, welcome to Make Our World Your Runway.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for being on the show. And, you know, 18 years old, the accomplishments that you have are absolutely amazing. I mean, to be in Broadway shows, to sing behind some Broadway greats, and now you're going to go to college to become a music major. How did you accomplish all of this at such a young age?
Well, I've had some great people behind me supporting me every step of the way. I started really young, so it opened me up to the world at a young age so I could get started quickly. And I've had some great teachers, honestly. Like the people that I have had teaching me have pushed me and made me the person I am today. So I thank them with all my heart.
Yep, exactly like me. I had some great teachers. I had a great coach, believe it or not, when I was in high school. His name was Vincent Vespoli. He was head of the a cappella choir, and he was quite a celebrity himself because he sang with a few Broadway groups, and he trained me all through high school, and then he was the one who pushed me to the Juilliard. And then when I came out of the Juilliard, I furthered my studies, and I studied with a woman by the name of Allison Starr, who had been on the Dean Martin show as an extra for 10 years. And she was the one who pushed me into getting into Phantom of the Opera. So, like you, okay, I've had a lot of great teachers. And I have to admit that when I was 2 years old, my family, because they were all talented, they threw me on the stage. Now, can you imagine a 2 year old just being thrown out of stage and being told, go out there and do your thing? So I can understand where you're coming from. And you probably started knee high like I did. So if you look at a stage today, I'm sure it does not bother you. Am I right in saying that?
You are right.
Yeah. I think you can do what I do. We can look on a stage and just kind of ad lib. Okay.
Yes.
And I tell people, don't give me a script. Don't even give me a teleprompter. Give me an idea of what you want me to say, and I'm going to go out there and do it. Okay. I just need to know what it's all about, and I will take it from there. And I've noticed you have that ability too. Just seeing you recently on stage, you're able to wing it. So when you're on stage, what comes to your mind?
Honestly, it is, for me, it's the most peaceful feeling. Like, there are, usually my brain is like all, like, every single tab is open. There's so many things going on in my brain. But when I get on a stage, my focus level is so narrow that it is only the information that I need, the creative mind. Like, it is so peaceful to me. It is like the only time I really focus is when I'm on stage. So it's nice, and it's, people have talked to me about stage anxiety, like auditions, like them like messing up in the middle of an audition, and I, thank God, have never had that. Because I don't know what I would do if I did. I probably wouldn't be as successful as I am if I had an anxiety behind it, but thank God I don't.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. People have spoken to me about that, and I've never messed up, whether it's been on an audition or whether it's just, reading lines. That's just something about me. I've never messed up. And like you say, thank God we've never done that. And I'll give you an example of what happened one time. I was working at the Catskills, which is up in the mountains, and they had this long staircase that came down, and I had to go down the staircase to get on the stage. And as I was coming it down, they announced me, and I slipped on the last step, and I fell. And everybody's going, ooh, ah, they're trying to make sure I'm all right. I got up, stagehand came over, got me up, and I said, well, when you're a star, everything you do is magic. And people started to laugh. But that's the ability of knowing the stage and being able to ad lib that if, God forbid, you do mess up, you can just turn around and kind of make a joke out of it where people know that, okay, you know what? They're very confident on what they do. So, and I've noticed that you definitely do that. Okay. When we had you on stage and winning Teen International World, when I saw you on stage, I said, oh my God, she just lights up. It's like a light bulb goes off. It's like, when we say make our world your runway, you absolutely do that. So you're
Thank
right when you say you get on stage and you just have to focus. That's it. So now you're going to go to school and you're going to study becoming a music major. Explain
Yes.
to us exactly what that is and what you're going to study.
So actually, I just got half of my schedule yesterday, so I know exactly. um, I'm gonna take you through like the audition process in the beginning. So musical theater is dancing, acting, and singing all together in one major. Instead
Right.
of getting a bachelor in fine arts, I will be getting a bachelor in music. So that means more music theory exams, more music. I have to take a piano class. I have to take chorus. I have to take harmony and ear training. So it is all three, but I'm
Yes.
just more focused on the music aspect. But I will be in classes probably from 8:30 in the morning, from dance conditioning in the morning, and then all the way to like 9:30 at night. And even when the main stage shows the auditions are, it's going to be classes all day and then rehearsal all night. So it is going to be one heck of a ride for me this year and next year. But auditioning kind of helped me because I auditioned for 25 schools. And in all those schools, you have to do 2 to 3 auditions each. So
Yes.
that was stressful. And I was going through that. It was like 3 or 4 months while I'm doing my senior year. And so it was just crazy. The rejection, the redirection, everything. You really have to just be able to take that and not have it break you down as like being in this industry. Even for modeling, pageantry, everything in this industry is being able to handle redirection. And that
Exactly.
this really helped me. It really opened up my eyes to be like, okay, yeah, I ended up not getting into my dream school, and I couldn't be happier. Like, it was crazy. I was like, there's no way that I was like, my life's over. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset. I'm so sad. But then the redirection was insane. And I've already met such amazing people. I'm going to the university on a full scholarship, $70,000 a year. It was in a godsend.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know exactly where you're coming from. And I was on a full scholarship with the Juilliard Academy of Music. And how I got that, this is very strange. My last year of high school, I was actually performing with the a cappella choir. And I did not know that people from the Reader's Digest were sitting in the audience.
Oh my
And they
gosh.
had selected me. And that's how I got the European tour. And from there, they went and they told the people of the Juilliard Academy, they said, you have got to bring this girl in. I like you, I was 18 years old and singing opera and singing C over C. And that's how I got the scholarship. And of course, through Mr. Vespoli, my coach there in high school. But I had no idea. And you never know who was sitting in that audience. Okay. And at the time, the musical Name was very popular. And the woman that was actually not playing Mame, because Angela Lansbury played Mame, but her co-star who played Gooch was sitting in the audience. And she
Oh my.
actually went to the Juilliard and told people, she said, you have got to hear Angela. She said, she's going to blow you away. And I had no idea these people were sitting there. I had no idea these people were going to other people and talking about me. So I think the biggest accomplishment that I've ever had in the music industry, not just singing in the tour Phantom of the Opera, but the day I was asked to sing our national anthem for President Nixon at the high school. And I was like, me? You want me to do? Now, here I was like this because now it wasn't only going out there and singing, but now I got the President of the United States in the audience looking at me. You want to talk about nerves? And when you talked about, oh my God, we can't flub anything. Here I was, 16 years old and saying, if I flub this, I'll never do anything again. Luckily for me, it just happened to come out perfect that night. Okay. So I think that was one of my big accomplishments that I was able to sing for President Nixon. And then I got invited in the White House and did it again. So I know exactly where you're coming from. Okay. And of course, that with dancing. And I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't realize we don't only have to study music and study how to sing it or read and write it, but so that we are very agile on stage, we have to study dancing, which I did
Mhm.
study. But as you know, I've studied now a lot with Max from Dancing with the Stars. And
Yes.
I have become more agile because Max, I got to get you in one of these classes with Max,
Love
because
that.
when you study with Max, it's like it's weird because he does start off very slow, but he doesn't. You kind of almost have to follow him. But at the end, I mean, you're right up to speed with him. But it's very strange on how he actually trains. Most dancers will say, okay, let's take this step by step. Max doesn't. Okay. He does a little bit in the beginning. He'll start moving his legs and his arms. But then all of a sudden, he just whips into that dance. And it's like, uh oh. But that's how he
I
gets you.
know.
That is
Yeah.
exactly how it gets you. So I am sure they're going to have you studying jazz, tap. They may even throw ballet at you.
Yes, I take ballet first year, first semester, and tap and jazz.
Yeah. Okay. So now, coming to the pageant, I want to get to that. And I know I always tell the girls, you may be giving up your title, but you're never gone from the organization. You should know that. Nobody ever leaves. Anybody comes into Miss International World, nobody leaves. They may just crown a successor, but they're still around. So, of course, we have great entertainment this year. Of course, Tito Puente Jr. is coming back. I don't know if you saw the advertisement, but you remember him, Stephen Avi, the violinist?
Yes.
Stephen's coming on board.
Aww.
So I would, in honor of your title, I would love to have you sing a song at the pageant.
Oh my gosh, I'd love that. I'd be honored to.
Yeah. If I can get rid of a little bit of this laryngitis, I might do Phantom of the Opera with you, but I would love to have you sing, okay, at the pageant this year, because I think you would just be amazing, and maybe we could get Stephen to even back you up.
I would love that. That would be so fun, especially because I'll be training a little bit. I'll be in school, and then back to the pageant. It'll be perfect.
Exactly, and we're working on getting Max to do a forward in the program book this year, so I might be able to ask Max to write a little note to you. Okay,
that would be.
I'm telling you, you got to come take a picture with Max, and when you meet him, you would never know that Max is a professional dancer. Max comes in now. You think he would, he comes in and he's going to be dressed when he teaches like he is on Dancing with the Stars. Forget it. Max comes in with the ripped jeans, the shirt hanging out of the pants, and a pair of sneakers. That's how Max is. Yeah. To look at him, you'd say, "Who is?" If you didn't know him, you'd say, "Who is this guy?" Okay, but he's just when he starts. Oh, like I said, you come out of there. I always tell everybody, if you weren't a professional dancer going in, you will be when you come out.
Okay? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he just has that way. So we got to get you into a class with Max, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how was your trip to New York? I know your thing is to become a Broadway star. So how was your recent trip to New York?
It was amazing. We were there for about 5 days in the city, and then we were also there for a bridal shower. So we had to drive up to Long Island for a day for the bridal shower. But we saw Phantom of the Opera, and it was phenomenal. I cried through the entire thing. It was just oh my gosh, the theater, oh my gosh, everything about it. It was my first Broadway show back from COVID that I had seen. So I was just very in my feels in that moment because everything was just perfect. And actually, a funny thing, I was looking at the board where it shows you like who's playing who understudying because I saw a matinee. And I look at the board and all of a sudden there's a familiar name on the board. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the man that was understudying for Raul, I worked with back here for the performing arts when I interned there. And we had like a private lesson, and he was in the national tour of Love Never Dies, which is the sequel of Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
And I saw him in that, and then we worked together for a while. And so I texted him immediately, and I was like, Rick Legs, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's so full circle that I'm seeing you. It was so funny. He was amazing. Everyone in that production was amazing. The dance, it's just too perfect.
Yeah, it is. It's a perfect play. The music was just Andrew Lloyd Webber, when he wrote that play and he wrote the music, he was just to perfection.
Yes.
And you know what I love about that play in the beginning, when they're having the auction and that chandelier goes up and they said, let's see if we can illuminate the Phantom once again. And that chandelier goes up and you hear that organ playing that music. It's like, you just want to do this. You've got the chills because something is coming. And it's it really is a beautiful a love story. Okay. And I was so honored because I had become one of the understudies in New York for Phantom of the Opera. But what happened was when they wanted to do the East Coast tour, they wanted Sarah Brightman to go out and do that. But, you know, she had done it for 5 years. And she had also done it 2 years previous to that in London. And she was doing 2 shows a day, you know, the matinee and then the evening. And she wanted to start her own solo career. And she also just was kind of tired. I think she wanted to take a break. And that's when I got the East Coast tour. And the Phantom of the Opera was played by a gentleman, Paul Stevio, who had performed in all of the casinos in Atlantic City. So I always say that was my summer of 1998 was the best, because that was the year that I did the tour and just performing in Phantom. We used to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was great. I always say that was the summer of my life, because singing in, you know, we had a 50-piece orchestra that we traveled with. It was just absolutely amazing. You know, and to see your name in lights, you know, my name and the part of playing Christine Daae. So I know exactly where you're coming from. It's just, that is just an amazing part of anybody's life to be in that. And I always say, if I never sing another note again, I always thank God I had the opportunity to be in Phantom of the Opera. And here's another thing, which a lot of people don't know. When they made the movie, Gerard Butler played the Phantom. And a lot of people didn't know that Gerard Butler could sing. And I had the opportunity to work with Gerard Butler a little bit because my cousin knows him very well. And there's a picture you've probably seen with me where I'm kind of looking towards the back. And that was Gerard Butler saying to me, okay, look at me. And the camera snapped. So I always tell people, boy, I got training from all the Phantoms.
Yes.
So yeah, that was another good thing. So I think you're definitely going to follow in either my footsteps or Sarah Brightman. I think you're going to be the next big Broadway star.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
Yes, you're going to be the next Broadway star. And you know what? You've got the personality to go with it. Okay. A lot of people that go into this business, I'll be honest with you, do not have a personality. Okay. They're either too afraid, they're stiff, they're just afraid to let their inner self come out. And one piece of advice that I can give you that I learned, when you do a song, okay, before you even sing it, take that sheet music, sit in a corner with no one around. Don't even sing the song. Just mouth the words. Learn the words. Because when you know the words to a song and you can put yourself into that song, now that audience, because people don't realize music is acting, and you've done acting, it's acting. You got to make that audience know that if you're singing about how to keep the music playing, okay, why are you keeping the music playing? Well, you got to, if you read the words to that song, okay, you'll know why. Make that audience understand that, because now you got them in the palm of your hands. And another thing that I'm sure you're going to get when you go to school, when you're in between songs, talk to your audience. Sometimes you can go from one song to another, or break it up. Talk to your audience, because I'll tell you why. You start to relax yourself, and you make that audience relax. Now, if you were up there singing a Bugs Bunny, they wouldn't care. You got them right in the palm of your hands. Okay. And I noticed that when you come on stage, you have a tendency to do that. People look at you. So if you can do those little things, and I know you're going to get that in class because I got that, you got it. You got it made. Okay. They can put you in a rocket and shoot you up to the moon, and you got it made.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when they open a colony in Mars, okay, which will be many years from now, you might be able to open a music school up there. And
that would be fantastic. That would be so fun.
I would say, well, if the aliens come down, there's one thing we could teach them. We could teach them how to be in music. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that would be great. But you definitely have that ability to do that. And I mean, besides music, I mean, I know that's going to be your focus, but anything else that you feel you want to study or go into? Because I always used to say, that's why I got into the cosmetic industry, because I used to say, something happens, I got something to fall back on. So what would be something you'd want to fall back on?
Well, I've actually thought about this a lot because my major, everyone's like, "Oh, are you going to do a minor? Oh, are you going to do a minor?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure. Like in a perfect world, absolutely, but there's only so much time in that I have." So, I was thinking about it and I wanted to do photography because I feel like I have an eye for certain photos, and like I always am taking pictures of my friends, pictures of my family, pictures of everything. It's just, to me, photography is so beautiful.
It
But
is.
I also have the film side of me that I could be like you and do makeup. I could figure out fashion, like anything on a set. Like there's sound, there's just so much that thank God I have learned in these past 4 years of high school when I booked my first TV show freshman year that I have
Right.
learned. And I was always terrified because I'm like, if I don't make it, like, what am I gonna do? Like, there's no point of being on this earth if I'm not gonna make it in this industry. And
Right.
it really opened my eyes to everything, like modeling, um, film, everything. There's just so much to do in this business. And I don't want
Yes.
to make myself this big and only doing musical theater. So I'm so happy that I've had countless opportunities to just open myself up to the world. It's been amazing.
Right. Exactly. And that's what you have to do. Now, did you ever think about this? Because this is something I may be going into myself. Did you ever think about going into broadcast journalism? Because you certainly, like me, have that proverbial gift of gab. And I could actually see you sitting on ABC at night, okay, being the main focus, telling the news, all right, because
A
you,
fun story because
yeah,
my mom actually, that was her major, and she
uh,
worked at CNN as a sportscaster
wow,
and was traveled with the Thrashers, Georgia Thrashers in the hockey team. Florida State, when she went there for school, she went with the football team everywhere and was on the ground there broadcasting. So that is so funny you say that because that was my mom's major, and that kind of opened me up, I feel like, to the world of industry. And even I took a class my senior year that was called the Bobcat News, and it was all broadcasting, and it broadcasted every Thursday at school, and everyone was forced to watch it. And it was like a 15-minute thing, and I would anchor. You would have to come up with content and videos that were in the show, and it was just amazing. It was such a good experience, and I would totally do that. So that is so funny you say that because I think you would be amazing as that too.
well, I'm working on a couple of things, and I'll tell you what, I think you'd be fantastic. But first of all, I have a couple of news people that are watching me that want to pitch this Make Our World Your Runway to a couple of national networks. Now, I know you're going to be busy in college, but I know you get breaks like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, and if you come home, maybe we could set up a couple of interviews. Okay. I do have some friends. You're going to school in Washington D.C. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. I got some good friends in Washington D.C. Okay. So we can definitely talk about that. But you know what I'd love for you to do? Okay, when you're on a Christmas break or Thanksgiving break, I would love you to come on Make Our World Your Runway and you interview a guest.
Oh
I'll
my
step back.
God,
I'll do an
fun.
introduction and say, you know what? Our special commentator today is going to be Gianna Angela Downing, and she's going to interview the next guest. Okay. And I'd love to see you do that because I'll tell you why. It'll give you experience. Okay. I can coach you. You'll know how to do that. And I think at the pageant, what you and I should do is interview a lot of the girls. Maybe you go and interview the judges. Okay. And
Yes.
we'll put that on Make Our World Your Runway.
I
And
love
we could pitch this. I know we could pitch this because I really think that with everything that you're doing, as far as getting involved with music, you can certainly do photography. You can do. I see the way you do your makeup. You're another one with the nails, like me. Yes, you do that too. And I just think you'd be great as a journalist. Okay. And I'm getting a foothold into MSNBC. And I think that this is something that you could do that could really advance your career. Okay. And you'd be
yes.
surprised. you're going into one thing, but you could do something else, and it opens up a lot of doors. Okay. And you never know where that door is going to open up. But I'll be honest, I've always known that you've had this talent, but after talking to you today and seeing the things that you've done, and I know this year you wanted to get out and do more with us. And you know what? Now I understand why. And sometimes you have to speak to someone and understand where their heart is to know why maybe they couldn't have done something. Okay. But what I think you're going to do for the pageant, you're setting a tone for other teens and other girls to follow. And if you've done anything with the crown and the title, you now have done just that. So I think I've got a better understanding of where you were, because now I've got a better understanding to look back to see what I've done and to why sometimes I couldn't be as visual as something. But as time went on, I got more visual. Now I get it. So see, now I totally understand it. But I think you're going to be an excellent role model going forward for girls that really want to. That's why I wanted you on the show, so that young girls could actually see that, you know what? Hey, even having the title, okay? And sometimes it's not what you do with it throughout the year, but you can always say, and you can put this on your resume and it will open doors. Hey, I was Teen International World. All right.
Oh, it is on my resume. Don't you worry. It is already on my resume.
I was on a billboard, but guess what? I was in fashion shows. I performed here, and they look at that. When you go for a job, they totally look at that.
Yes,
I got
100%.
many jobs, but when I used to put on my resume that I was Mrs. New Jersey Globe and I was in the top 10. Oh, you did that? Oh, okay. You know what? I think you'd be great. I would go in for one job and they'd give me something else. So you have all this amazing background, okay? And I just think that now going forward, you really will be a role model for us. And, you know, like I said, no one leaves the organization. Title never dies. If you said to me in Washington in the month of January, hey, I got to go out and represent my title, I'll tell you, go right ahead. You know what? Once you've had that title, you always have that title, okay? And I always make new girls coming in. I always say, hey, if you can't make it, I'm going to go to the former title holder. So be prepared that they're going to go out there and represent the title. And that's why we don't put years on. We don't put years on the banners.
Yes,
Because
I love that.
You have to go out and represent us. No one knows. Okay. You're going to say, hey, I'm Teen International World. All right. And if they say, well, you were last year, all you have to do is say, oh, I'm still Teen International World. So you can always say that. But
Yes.
I think you'd be great with that. So I would love to help you in your career. I get involved with a lot, but I would love to help you with your career, because if I could be on the stage 24/7, that is exactly where I'd be. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, and you know what? They say something about us entertainers. And there was a gentleman one time that I knew that was head of the theater. And he said, Angela, I'm going to tell you something about yourself. And I said, what's that? He said, if you can't take that home at night, you get depressed. And I said, no, I don't. And he said, yes, you do. And you know what? He's right. If I don't hear an audience clapping or I'm not doing something, I don't sleep.
I agree. I agree.
So I'm sure you feel the same way. Okay. And I hope you had a great summer, because I know you're going to college. So I hope you was able to get out and do some things.
Yes. Very family oriented, since I will be quite a distance away.
Yes, exactly. But you will get those breaks. I know you'll come home for Thanksgiving. I know you'll come home for Christmas. And I'm sure next year you'll be home for the summer.
Yes.
Unless you're on Broadway.
Oh, yes. Then I will be taking a little brief intermission from college and moving to New York City.
Well, New York City is a crazy place, but I'll tell you this. It's still a great place. Okay.
It is.
New York City, no matter what they do to it, they could tear it down. They could knock buildings down. Unfortunately, COVID was very bad in New York City, but you're never going to kill that city. No matter
No.
what happens there, the people in New York City are resilient and they are always going to come back. Okay. And you know how the song says, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. New York, New York. There you go. So,
Yes.
and you know, they should remake that movie, New York, New York. I love that movie, and I can see you starring in that movie.
I would love to.
Because I hate to say this, you're not a Florida girl. You're a New York girl.
I am
Okay.
not a Florida. Everyone asks me, they're like, "Oh, why don't you love Florida?" I'm like, it just doesn't resonate with me.
No.
Like, I travel and I go to New York City and I feel at home. I feel at home. I am a city girl, thick and thin.
Yep. I'm exactly the same way. Well, you see me when I'm out and about and the way I get dressed. People say, you're not from here. I said, nope. My accent is not from here. My accent is a combination of Jersey and New York. Because people say, you're from the Northeast. I said, you got it. And a lot of people think I'm originally from New York. I'm not. I was born and raised in Bergen County, New Jersey, but I worked in Manhattan for over 28 years. So I picked up that New York City accent. But no, I'm
Yeah.
definitely a New York City girl. You put me in New York and I can function. I can do anything you want
Yeah.
me to. No, I love the weather here. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I can function with the weather. The only thing I never liked about New York is wearing 2 fur coats and a hat because I was always freezing. Okay. But it's just anything you want to do is there. You want to go to a movie, you go to a movie. You want to go to a theater, you got all the theaters. You got 3,800 restaurants sitting in New York City. You want Italian food, you want Indian food, whatever you want, it's there. You can do it. Okay. And that's what I tell people. Whatever you want to do is in New York City. All right. So it is a great place. But anyway, besides going to school, what are your future plans? What do you see for yourself?
I see. So, of course, Broadway. That was always the thing. I actually, for a while in my life, was very against going to college. I wanted to immediately move to New York City right after senior year.
Don't
But
blame me.
COVID happened and I became more mature in my thinking ways and I decided that college was probably a good idea. So, now I'm doing the whole college thing and after hopefully I will either DC will do me right and I will find a home there for a little bit
Yes.
and I know they have theaters galore there. Opportunity at its finest is there. So maybe I'll stay there for a little bit. Or I've always wanted to work at Disney as a princess. So maybe because there's an age like you can only do it for so long. So maybe I'll come down back to Florida for a little bit and do Disney for a little bit just to get everything in order and
Right.
then go back to New York City and live out my dreams of auditioning and being a starving artist for a while.
Yes, exactly. You know what? And Disney, that it's great that you said that because I've had people in my family that passed up Disney auditions and they are sorry that they did.
Yeah,
It's
never.
like Broadway. You get Disney on that resume, okay?
Yes.
And I'm telling you, sky is the limit, okay? Even if you just do it for a half a year or for a summer, do it like a summer semester, but you got Disney. And with your talent, you never know. Disney makes movies. They've got the cruise ship. Disney is another world in itself. It's like going to New York City. That's another world. Disney is just absolutely amazing. I mean, my husband passed up Disney being a graphic artist. He's sorry he did that. My cousin
Wow.
passed it up for doing a show. Disney is where you want to be. Okay, definitely where you want to be. So I would say yes. If you came back and you were there just for like the summer months and you've got that on your resume, and you never know, Disney may hire you permanently because I could
Yeah.
see you becoming a producer working on Star Wars. I could see a lot for you.
Ah,
Yeah. So I think you have a wonderful, wonderful future ahead of you. And I have to tell you, I have enjoyed this segment of the show because you've done a lot of what I've done. And when I look at you, I see myself going back, let's say, up teen years ago. Okay.
oh,
And once show business is in your blood, it's just something it never comes out. You could be 100 years old and you'll still be singing on stage. Okay.
yes.
So you got a lot of talent there. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Maybe you could guess this before we close out. Could you take a guess on who I'm related to? It's very big in show business. Very big.
I'm not sure, but now I'm really intrigued. I want to know.
Okay. He is a distant cousin. Well, he's like a third cousin. All right. If I said this to you, I'm a southpaw. Did that give it away?
No, it didn't. But I'm thinking too much about it that it's like my brain's not working.
Okay, give you another hint. Who was a great boxer and always knocked everybody out in the movies?
Rocky?
You got it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yep, he is a distant. He's our third cousin. If you saw my cousin Anthony, you'd swear it was Sylvester Stallone. But
oh my God.
Yep, he is related. He's related to us. My cousin Anthony's followed a lot in his footsteps. But three of us in the family. Sylvester Stallone's a southpaw. I am. My cousin Anthony is, and my cousin Teresa is. Yep.
Oh no, you're from.
And his father, my Aunt Millie, she was married to his father's brother. That's how we're related.
Wow. That is so funny.
Yeah. So in fact, people look at me and go, "You're a southpaw?" Yeah. And that gives it away all the time. But anyway, my dear, I am so glad that you have been on the show. You've been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so
when
much.
are you leaving? When are you leaving now for college?
I leave the 24th of this month, or the 23rd.
Yeah, it's coming up. That's when I will be in England. But anyway, I will be in touch with you before you leave for college. And of course, Imagine is October 15th through the 17th. So we're going to see you then. But I want all our viewers, we filmed today, and in a couple of weeks, you will go live. So I want everybody to wish you well. I'm going to wish you well. I know you're going to be spectacular, but this is not going to be the end. But anytime you want to come back to Make Our World Your Runway, and as I told you, I definitely want you to host a segment. So it has been my honor and my pleasure to have you on the show. And we wish you all the success in the world, because you're going to be a major star, and God's got to grant me another 30 years so I could see you getting an Academy Award or seeing you on Broadway.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Gianna, for being on the show. You have a great weekend. Give Mom my best, and I will be in touch.
All right. Bye. Good. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye, dear. Well, there you have it. Another wonderful guest, Gianna Angela Downing, the current reigning Teen International World, who we know is going to become either a Broadway star or a big movie star, or even a producer. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you once again for tuning in to Make Our World Your Runway, and always watch us every Thursday evening when we have another spectacular guest. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we will see you soon.